Strippergate thing is like really, it's dragging out a little too long, if you ask me. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get the YouTube stream up. It looks like it's up, but I feel like my microphone is not connected. And that may have been my fault because I may have screwed this up earlier. But, okay, well, tis what it is. We're making the best of a bad situation. Love Jersey. So I think I'm loving New Jersey way more than I'm loving Atlanta right now. I was really surprised by the whole Drew and LaToya fight. Okay, well, first let's start talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you can let me know what you think and what your thoughts were. Well, obviously, Teresa Updates is gonna love Jersey. Your account is called Teresa Updates. But Atlanta, okay, so we're finally past the bachelorette party, which I'm very happy about because that bachelorette party dragged on way too much. Are you liking Jackie this season? I actually am really liking Jackie. Okay, actually, I retract that. I normally like Jackie, but this season I find her to be a little frustrating because she doesn't want to go to any of the events. She doesn't want to apologize to Teresa. And like, I kind of get it. Like, you shouldn't apologize to Teresa because you technically didn't do anything. And Teresa is the one, I guess we're going into Jersey. Teresa is the one that actually is spreading this rumor, and it was a terrible place to spread the rumor. I love Teresa. She's the like Sonia, she's the straw that stirs the cocktail. She keeps the show going. We wouldn't have Real Housewives of New Jersey without Teresa Giudice. However, gotta call Teresa out when it's time to call Teresa out. And this is a time when it was like, Teresa, just own your shit. Just be like, look, I shouldn't have said it there. I shouldn't have brought it up his birthday party. Let me just apologize to Jackie so that we can get through this and move on. Hi, Annie on YouTube. Welcome, Annie. I agree. Jackie needs to show up and do your job. I agree, Teresa Updates. Jackie needs to show up and do her job, and she's already missed 2 events. She should have been like, you know what, Teresa, let's actually have a conversation where we sit down and try to hash things out. Or like, I don't know, do something other than filming at home with Evan. And let's be real, the fact that she made everybody get together for a dinner that was really just to have a do-over, like, you know, that wasn't a real do-over. You can't do over a birthday party. And the last, like, that was her way of trying to compensate for not showing up and doing her job. So Jackie is irritating me a lot. Shishi Lucy, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Love you, Zack. You look fabulous. Thank you. I'm very excited to be blonde again. You know, I wasn't loving the dark route, so I'm very happy to, like, you know, be blonde and bitchin' all over again. The toast, the Jackie toast, was very cringy. I just feel like that whole dinner was completely unnecessary. She intentionally didn't invite Teresa because she wanted it to be some sort of like dig at Teresa. And I don't think Teresa can really be that bothered. Teresa's just like, bitch, like I am this show. This is my show. You can't just come up in here. And I think Teresa's even said that, like, this is my show. You can't just come up in here and try to, like, you know, swing your dick around because you think it's all that, because it's not. Like, Teresa, come on, let's get it together, girl. Is there anybody that's Team Teresa? Let's just say that. Mention in the comments or the live chat, are you Team Teresa? Are you Team Teresa? Next week looks juicy. I agree. Next week finally looks juicy. I think Jackie should have accepted the olive branch. See, I disagree with that. I don't think that Teresa's olive branch was a real olive branch. Teresa's olive branch was I feel like everyone's pressuring me to do something. Everyone's pressuring me to be nice to Jackie because I'm wrong. And I don't want to admit that I'm wrong, even though I really am wrong. And so I don't think that was an actual olive branch. I'll be honest with you about that. Is anybody else drinking with me tonight? I'm having some wine. Team Teresa, of course. Oh, Evelyn D, Team Teresa. She gave Jackie a storyline. Okay, so when I was on this morning with Up and Adam on YouTube, that's exactly what I said, that Teresa gave Jackie a storyline, and she's consistently given Jackie a storyline. And I think that's why Teresa doesn't want to apologize, because she's just like, bitch, I gave you a storyline to, like, rock this season where, you know, Teresa's had to go through so many different things on the show, from her legal issues to her marital issues to her husband basically getting caught cheating on her, talking to other women on the phone. So, like, for me, it's like, come on, Teresa. At some point, you have to accept that, you know, you were wrong here. I go back and forth. Yes, honey. T is the best, is the best and the worst at apologies. I mean, think about it like this though. Look at how long it took her to admit that she started the rumor that Melissa was a stripper. Now, she didn't even fully admit that she said that Melissa was a stripper. She eventually, like 2-3 seasons deep, was like, oh, I happened to be at a table where Kim D and all these other people were talking about Melissa being a stripper. So I'm sorry that I went to lunch with them. I'm sorry that I liked being around them. That's like, she's really terrible at apologizing. Okay, let's see. Pump rules, bravo. Teresa was wrong. However, she's delivering and I'm absolutely here for it. Jackie hasn't given us anything this season. Low-key. I'll agree. Jackie hasn't given us anything. And I predicted this before the season even started when the rumors about Evan were swirling about Teresa bringing them up on the show. I said that if Jackie wasn't going to be showing up to tapings, like we see that Bravo doesn't feel bad about firing these housewives. They don't feel bad about cutting you if you're not going to show up and you're not going to do your job. And right now, Jackie is somebody that's not showing up and she's not doing her job. And like, I don't feel bad saying that because that's your paycheck. That's your job. You're not writing articles about privileged kids for anyone anymore. It's just, no. Jackie has given us laughs with her dragging it on. I agree. I think at this point I'm over. Like, I'm just going to say this though. I don't believe Evan actually cheated on her, but if I were to run into Evan in like the locker room at the gym and he wanted to meet me in the bathroom stall, like I'm not going to say no to that because Evan's hot and I would totally do Evan. So could he cheat? Possibly. Do I believe that he's cheated? No, I don't believe that Evan has actually cheated. What do you think about Melissa this season? I don't think about Melissa any season, to be honest with you. Evan would hit it for sure. I wish Evan would hit it. Oh, do you mean like in general or do you mean me specifically? I wish Evan would hit it because I would hit it in 2 seconds. Melissa, what do I feel about Melissa this season? So I think Melissa's very boring every season. I think her storylines are very manufactured. I mean, her looking for her long-lost sibling and her wanting to have another kid at 40. Like all of her storylines are fake. We all know that they're fake. She tries to say, no, that's real. That's actually happening. I'm actually considering having a baby. No, they're not. It's not real. The only thing I'm looking forward to Melissa this season, which looks like it's going to come up probably not next week, but the week after, is the flip out that she has on Teresa when she gets the bowl of food and she throws it and she has her whole meltdown moment. I'm looking forward to that because we never see Melissa unhinged. Red Sox Sarah, hi Zack. Yay, welcome Sarah. Thanks for joining on YouTube. We've never seen Melissa unhinged. We've never seen her snap. We've seen Teresa snap, but Melissa always tries to be super composed. We may have seen glimpses of it when she first started the show before she was aware of like how reality TV worked. But now we're seeing this other side that's very curated, that's very, Melissa with her 4 nose jobs. I agree with all the fans that think Melissa is boring and her storylines are fake, and I'm not here for it. Melissa does seem to make up her story. Name one storyline that Melissa Gorga has ever had that has not seemed at least a fraction fake or a fraction real. Oh my God, Jennifer is flipping. Okay, I have to say, I think my favorite housewife of New Jersey has to be Jennifer Aiden. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me. Mention in the comments who your favorite is. Obviously, some of you guys are clearly, Teresa favorites, but tell me. I love Jennifer. I think she's hilarious. I think she brings comic relief. I think she brings the housewife glam and aesthetic. She dresses up. She has a wealthy husband who is going to ride his convertibles all around town. He doesn't need to be sticking his pee in any other V's because he's got it at home. His wife is gorgeous. She's got the glam. She's got the glitz. She's got the money. She's got all the kids. She's got some culture to her, which I also really appreciate now that we're adding more diversity to the casts of the franchises of Real Housewives. It's nice to see her culture. We see her parents, we see her kids, we see her husband. It's not an Adrienne Maloof situation where we can't talk about the kids and we can't show the kids. Like, you really get a full access to her life. Annie says, I'm loving Jennifer too, except when she kisses up to Teresa. Her husband is great. I agree. She really likes to eat Teresa's asshole. She wants to be like, Teresa, what did you have for lunch today? Let me eat your asshole out. And I'm just like, Jennifer, tone it down. Like, you're a good enough housewife. The only other time Jennifer did irritate me is when she was coming for Bethany on Watch What Happens Live, because I was like, look, girl, you're still new to the game. You're still a newer housewife. You can't come for Bethany just yet, because Bethany's an OG that started the franchise when they first branched out of Orange County. So yeah, she has a little bit of an ego, but for the most part, I love Jennifer. I love sloppy drunk Jennifer. I need more of her sloppy drunkenness that, Bill can carry her into his convertibles with. I love your commentary, so thank you. Thank you, Katie. Court says, we see her getting hammered. I love seeing her getting hammered. That's freaking hilarious. It reminds me of when I used to get hammered in college. I haven't been that hammered and I don't know how long. And now I want to get that hammered. I only have half a bottle of wine tonight, so I can't get that hammered tonight. But I am really excited about what Jennifer has more to give us. We need to give Jennifer tequila every week, and I'll be here for it. Yes, she can stand on her own. She does not need Teresa. I agree. A lot of people are starting to feel like Teresa's time on New Jersey is going to be up soon. And that was one of the reasons that they believe Teresa brought up this rumor on this new season, was she felt the pressure to, excuse me, I had a burp. She felt the pressure to start up some drama. That way she could be part of the storyline so that she wouldn't be able to get cut from the cast, because we saw that Bravo's cutting a lot of the OGs, like Vicky and Tamara, who threw a big tantrum. And so obviously they're not afraid to lose some OGs. Although without any OGs, we saw that Real Housewives of Orange County really struggled this most recent season. I didn't hate it, but it was also the first time I'd ever seen it. So I think the first time I'd ever consecutively watched a full season. So I think my bar was just really low. If Teresa's out, I'm done. The issue with New Jersey right now is it's so heavily focused on Teresa. Court says Def jumped from person to person and told everybody at the party. And I believe her, though. I believe the rumor. I don't believe the rumor, but I do believe she intentionally spread the rumor and she doesn't realize that she spread it because, she's great TV, but she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Let's just be clear about that. Super random, but you are gonna do a pod with Katie from AfterBuzz anytime soon. I love you two together. Katie and I did a podcast together. You mean like an episode or like a podcast? Katie and I did an episode. I've actually been thinking about doing like an AfterBuzz episode on my podcast where I really talk about all the behind the scenes, because one of the most common comments that I get from people are like, oh, I used to watch you on AfterBuzz. I loved your Bravo recaps back then on AfterBuzz. And it's great to see you doing your own thing and having your own podcast. First of all, I had my own podcast prior to AfterBuzz TV. And I have a lot to say about AfterBuzz, and it's not all good stuff. So I'm just going to zip my mouth right there. Will Katie and I be doing something in the near future? We did do a fun last Valentine's Day, not this year, but last year before the pandemic shut everything down. We did a fun podcast together called Disaster Daters, if anybody wants to listen to that, where we just talk about our worst dating stories. Katie and I haven't done anything recently. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. TBD. We'll see. DM her and tell her you want me on her show. Do you have a Patreon? I don't have a Patreon, but this is where I think I'm going to do the AfterBuzz tell-all episode. I was thinking of doing like a Patreon, maybe start off with something. I mean, I don't want to charge anybody more than like $3.99 a month. I think it's ridiculous that some people charge like $20 a month or whatever. And I've never wanted to ask anybody for money. That's why all my shows and everything are completely free. But I will tell you this. I am in talks about maybe doing possibly a summer rosé, like a Housewives inspired themed canned rosé that I was thinking about doing. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, but I think it might be fun if anybody's interested in like wine and rosé that's going to be Housewives themed with like different Housewives saying. But we'll see about a Patreon. TBD, I haven't fully decided on whether or not I want to do a Patreon. But back to Housewives. So we've already established we love Jennifer Aiden. Teresa definitely spread the rumor about Evan. I don't believe the rumor is true. I know a lot of other people do. Let me just jump into YouTube really quickly. And he loves Jennifer. We stan her. AfterBuzz Zack. I would love this. Hi, Zack. Hi, guys. Hi, QK. Hi, Annie. Hi, Red Sox Sarah. Thank you, guys. Hi, Lady T841. I personally like Jackie, but I think she needs help. Her OCD kicks in too much. Interesting. I've never thought about her OCD. And she gets fixated on issues and can't let it go. Tell Teresa she's full of bull and keep it moving. Okay, in relation to Jackie and OCD. So Jackie has openly talked about her eating disorders. And so when somebody has an eating disorder, which I know because I struggled with like bulimia, I've struggled with eating disorders most of my life, but I struggled with bulimia specifically for like 10 years when I had to go into treatment, I had to do therapy, I had to do the whole thing. But with eating disorders, you're very much fixated on control and you want to have control over things in your life. And I think that's what you're seeing. It's less OCD and it's more about just needing to have control over everything in your life, especially when you're on a reality show, you're trying to control the narrative. And so I think with Jackie, she has really intense perfectionism and control issues. Marge's man said he heard it. I mean, somebody in New Jersey could be spreading the rumor or trying to make it relevant. That's why, like, with this Michelle chick and her husband that are trying to say that Joe Gorga didn't pay them, I don't think they were even really bothered by, I don't think there was ever a real deal in place with that event where he was expecting to actually get paid. I think it was more of he was expecting to get the exposure and then didn't get as much of the exposure as he was expecting to get, and then wanted to make it a part of the show. That way his wife could be a housewife on the show. Now we realize she's only a friend of. Michelle is very thirsty and so is her husband. I think that's the only reason they brought it up. I don't think they ever expected or intended on getting paid for doing the event. I think they just want exposure and fame on reality TV. I struggle with the eating disorder too, and your story and vulnerability is an inspiration. Thank you, Sarah. I've written about it. I've talked about it. I mean, I'm sure I'll dive into it more as I've gotten more comfortable opening up about my struggles with bulimia and anorexia. And up until recently, like I stopped weighing myself. I don't count calories. Like it took me a long time to kind of break up with all of those unhealthy habits that were just contributing to an unhealthy headspace for me. But kudos to you for staying strong. Eating disorders are very challenging. So I'm sending you a lot of love, Red Sox Sarah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kisses, kisses, love, 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 like Teresa does. Under eating and overeating is scary for people. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a challenge. Oof, I can't wait to see the episode when that comes out. Michelle is thirsty. You're beautiful, and I'm so proud of your work. Thank you, guys. Okay, anything else you want to say? Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the supports in the comments. And to all those that struggle, absolutely. Thank you, Court. Thank you, Evelyn. Anything else you want to talk about New Jersey before we divvy out? Michelle, Joe Gorga, Frank Catania. I think Dolores needs to leave. What's his face? David. See, I even forgot his fucking name because nobody pays attention. Nobody cares about David. Everybody, I mean, if anything, I'm going to take this off because I'm getting really hot. I'm getting fired up, everybody. Nobody cares about David. I don't want to see Dolores with David. Go get more wine. I have more wine right here, Court. Ooh, I have my bottle right here. I have my wine right here. Who else is drinking with me? Let me know what you're drinking tonight. Hi, Zack. Hi, Karen McCall. Welcome. Great imitation of Teresa. I try. David needs to go. We need to get rid of David. Are we okay with Dolores getting back with Frank, though? Like, that's the real conversation. BH Sutton grills Erica. Ooh, do you want to talk about that? I was going to talk about that on the show on Monday. Bye, David. Yeah, I agree. Bye, David. Pinot Noir over here. Yum, I'm drinking Cab. Dolores looks so freaking good. She is gorgeous. I've met her. She has great energy. She's gorgeous. She's hot. She doesn't need to be waiting around for a man that doesn't RESPECT her. Like, Dolores needs to find a man that actually cares enough to give her his time. I think David likes being 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I think he likes the stability of having someone to come home to. I don't think he's going to fool around because he can get the sex because, Dolores is going to give him the sex. But like, I don't know. I think it's too easy for him. It's all too convenient for him. And I think she's not worth a Sauv Blanc. Get it, Karen? I don't think she's worth his time. I don't think he's worth her time. Sorry. I think she's better off just going back to Frank or going back on the dating scene. But I don't think she wants to date. I think she wants to settle down with somebody. And I kind of secretly have hoped that maybe her and Frank might work it out. And her son is a hottie patati. Hot tamale. Cheers, drinking White Claws. Yes, I feel like they already act like they're together. Frank and Dolores, I agree. Love ya. Kid is awake. Have a great night. Bye, Court. Thanks for joining. Okay. QK, let's talk Beverly Hills. So I was a little irked and irritated that Hollywood Life released this exclusive scoop that I had already released on my show. So I don't know who their source actually is, but they said that they had exclusive inside sources that say that Sutton is going to, kind of, I don't want to say the villain, but she's going to be coming for Erica Jane a lot this season. Erica's divorce is going to be heavily covered. I've said that a million times on my podcast. I have very close sources to production of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I've been open about that. So Hollywood Life's exclusive is not very exclusive. But yes, we are going to get a lot of Erica's divorce. Yes, she is talking about it. All the women, for the most part, are supporting her. The only one that I wouldn't say is not supporting her, but is just trying to dig a little deeper. And I think she's working for that diamond, and that's Sutton. Sutton really wants the diamond. And I think at this point, she earned her diamond last season. She earned her diamond this season. She's put in the work. She's put in the time. She's done more as a friend of the past 2 seasons than a lot of full-time housewives have done. Like arguably more than Kyle has done last season and this season. This upcoming season. So I think Sutton has earned herself a diamond. I mean, and she's not like a Danielle Staub. She's not a Kim D where they're going to stir the pot, they're going to start drama, and it's going to be, messy, and we don't need to give them a full-time spot because they're a liability. Sutton is not a liability. Sutton can actually, she has the glam, she has the money, she has the business and work ethic. She has a boyfriend that could potentially become a husband. So I think Sutton really is a full package housewife, especially in Beverly Hills. She has a shop on Melrose. She's doing her thing. And it's not like a fake shop, like a fake clothing line like Kyle's had in the years with her muumuus and stuff. Like, I think Sutton has earned her diamond, but she is going to be, I don't want to say a bully this season, but she's definitely, this isn't going to be her best season. So people are either really going to love her or they're really going to find her annoying. And it's going to be like Dorit in the earlier seasons when people found Dorit really annoying. I've always loved and currently love Dorit. Karen says, bring back LVP. I don't think Lisa Vanderpump is going to be coming back anytime soon. But speaking of Lisa Vanderpump, I'm not the biggest LVP fan, but I'm looking forward to watching Overserved on E. Like, that actually seems to be her element. When Lisa Vanderpump announced that she was going to be releasing a podcast, I was like, Lisa Vanderpump on a podcast? Like, it just felt so like weird and like not natural for her. But this E show, I think, is actually going to be a great platform for, I think it's going to be her. She's in her element now, Housewives, she outgrew Housewives, and now, she's just in a different space. Moving over to YouTube Live. All right. Thanks, Evelyn. Move over to YouTube. I'm still broadcasting on both, so you can watch on Instagram or on YouTube. I think both broadcasts will be available afterwards. And let me know if you guys have been enjoying this and if you want to do this. I'm thinking of doing this every Thursday evening if it goes well. Maybe when I launch the new canned wine, we'll be able to like drink that and like have a thirsty Thursday night every Thursday, and we'll recap the shows from this week. But before we wrap things up, we talked about New Jersey. We talked a little bit about Beverly Hills. Was there anything else in Atlanta, in Jersey? Hi, Lily. How are you? Welcome. Anything else you guys want to cover before we close out? Because we're hitting the half-hour mark. I don't want to make it too long because I know we all have a busy life ahead of us. We all have to watch the premiere of the final season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians tonight, and I have the rest of this half a bottle of wine to finish. So what else is top of mind for you guys before we close out? Annie, yes, this is the first time I've ever done YouTube Live, and I've only done it because people kept requesting I do YouTube Live, and I've never done YouTube Live. So this is the first time I've ever tried this. Tiffany Moon. Oh my gosh. That was actually in my notes of what I wanted to talk about, because I'm so sad. I wanted to buy from UK. Bye, Karen. Thanks for joining in. I wanted to talk about Dallas because I just personally don't think Dallas is a very strong franchise. I had a great time interviewing Leanne Locken, the interviews on YouTube. I had a great time interviewing Cameron Westcott, interviews on YouTube or on iTunes, wherever you listen to the podcast. The full interviews are out there. But I'm trying to get into the actual Real Housewives of Dallas show, and I can't. And I think the only thing they had working for them this season was Tiffany Moon. I thought she brought diversity. I thought she brought heat. She wasn't afraid to stand up to the other women. Whereas sometimes you either have a housewife that comes in too hard, or you have a housewife that's a little too timid and doesn't know her footing. Tiffany Moon is somebody that's very confident in who she is, and I respect that in a housewife. Now, she has basically said that she's not coming back to the show, and basically was just like, I don't have time for this, which major power and props. It's what I talked about with Monique Samuels on the show this week when I interviewed her, is like, when a housewife says that, like, I have a life and an income outside of the show and I'm very happy to walk away from the show, I actually respect that so much, because it shows that, like, they're a real housewife and they, earned their spot on the show. I love Dallas, but I miss Leanne. I think Leanne was a great character on the show. Leanne was bad, but it left a massive hole in the show now. I agree. I think this is the issue with, like, New Jersey, is when you have one person like Teresa that really carries the show, which is what happened in Dallas, is Leanne was really carrying Real Housewives of Dallas. So when you lose that core person that's like the anchor of the show, which is why I think Real Housewives of New York suffered this past season, is because they didn't have Bethany, and Bethany was a central anchor for the show, and Dorinda was just in a really bad place. Whereas, like, if you don't have, like, you need that anchor on the show, but you also need to make sure that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, so that when the housewife leaves or gets fired or whatever, it doesn't ruin the show. That's why I think Real Housewives of New York was really bad this past season, because we didn't have Bethany and she was that core anchor. It's why I think Dallas really struggles without Leanne Locken. And I understand why Leanne wanted to leave and why she needed to leave and why the network was very happy with her parting ways after everything that happened last season. I get it, but it's like that anchor housewife is just so integral to the show that I think that's why the Real Housewives franchise might be coming to an end soon. But I do want to touch on the fact that the Housewives All-Stars show that they were planning is now going to be in Turks and Caicos. I think that was the latest report, because originally people were thinking it was going to be in Mexico. But it's been confirmed that Luann from Real Housewives of New York, originally people were saying Ramona and Sonia, but Luann has signed on to do the Real Housewives All-Star show. It's going to film for a week, about 8 to 10 housewives. Like I said, when the idea initially came over to me and I heard about it last year, it was going to be with OGs and not with any current or new housewives. I think Leanne still fits the bill for an OG. She has signed on to do that show. It's going to be in Turks and Caicos. They're going to film it for 1 week in April. It'll likely air this fall, or it'll probably be like a holiday special, or not holiday specific, but around that time. A lot of people seem to agree about Leanne, that she was definitely an anchor on the show. Jen Shah. Has anybody been following this Jen Shah stuff? Because it wasn't an assistant, but it was a designer. And the issue that I have, like, I feel for the designer, and I don't want to diminish his experience at all, but I also kind of feel like he's a little thirsty. And I want to know where the leak came from and why everybody's like, we don't know where the leak came from. We don't know, like, how this audio happened to slip out. I think he probably leaked it, or he knew somebody that happened to leak it. I think it was like a Faith Stowers Jack situation where it's like, oopsie whoopsie, my phone happens to be recording us having sex. And then oopsie whoopsie, I happen to play it for Logan, who accidentally posts and sends it to everybody and leaks it out there. It's like, it was too coincidental. But I think Jen Shah is a very volatile and aggressive person. I know she doesn't like that word, but I think Jen Shah is very aggressive. I think Jen Shah is just very problematic in the sense, like, she has zero respect for people, and she's like not in touch with reality, which is the other really strange part, which normally works for housewives. But in this case, like if she joined Real Housewives in 2011 or even 2014, I think it would have been, everyone would have loved her, and it would have been a little more okay and tolerable to have her on the show, because that's like back when we were all like, oh my God, Stassi slapped Kristen and it was crazy. Like, you know, reality TV was different. Our culture is very different in 2020, in 2021, and moving forward, where like that type of behavior is not accepted and it's not tolerable, and you should not speak to people that way. And Jen Shah is just somebody that I think is going to have a really hard time moving forward, and she's probably going to end up like getting canceled or going to get fired. She's probably, or she'll leave the show because she's like, I can't take the heat anymore, and I, you know, whatever. I don't love Jen Shah. She's not my favorite. I like Lisa, which I know is a hot topic on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I like Lisa and I like Whitney. I can't fucking stand Mary. I think Mary just like makes me cringe in my bones. Vinny, hi Vinny. Hi all new to the YouTube, liked and subscribed. Welcome Vinny, thanks for joining in tonight. I don't think Jen has respect for herself behaving like that. Jen has no respect for anybody. People love Mary. QK loves Mary on YouTube. I don't love Mary. I think she just like makes me cringe so much. She's crazy. She's crazy. I will say she seemed to redeem herself a lot at the reunion, to the point where I actually kind of had a bit of a soft spot for Mary. And I was starting to get a bit of a soft spot for Jen too, until Jen started to throw out the racism accusations against her cast members, saying that by them calling her aggressive, that was a form of racism, where I was like, but your behavior is ultimately, and like, I talked about this on my show and you can listen to that episode. There's a video on my YouTube channel, and it was I think it was last week's episode of No Filter, where I dived more into the Jen Shah and the reunion stuff, but I don't know. She's not doing herself any favors, and it's only getting worse from here. All right. Any closing thoughts? Love Lisa. Mary's hilarious. I thought Heather was over the top in the reunion. Like, calm down. I have a love-hate relationship with Heather. I like Heather. I don't love Heather. I like her. Don't love her. We'll see what season 2 brings. Jen Shah is fake aggressive. She is off the rails for no reason other than wanting airtime. See, Sarah, I would have normally agreed with you, but I think the leaked video of her yelling at her stylist or the designer, I think that shows that, and all of the women have corroborated that she is aggressive and she behaves that way off camera just as much as she does on camera. So I think that's just who she is. And she's probably a very wealthy person that has been able to get away with having this aggressive personality. And now it's just all catching up to her because now there's national exposure on her. Hi, Zack. Hi, Nicola. Lisa Barlow does nothing for me. Really? I really like Lisa Barlow. I mean, she's not amazing, but I like her in the same way that I love Dorit. Dorit's probably my favorite housewife of Beverly Hills. All right, guys, we are at the 30-minute mark. I know everybody's busy, and I know we all have more wine or White Claws and Sauv Blanc and Pinot to go finish up. And we have the premiere of Z. Can you do a YouTube about Meghan Markle? A YouTube, yeah, I did a YouTube about Meghan Markle. I want to say there are like 1 or 2 videos on YouTube about Meghan Markle and about Bethany. Are you talking about like doing a deep dive, or let me know specifically what you want to see? But I have covered Meghan Markle on the YouTube channel and on the podcast. But okay, let's close this out. Love you all. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you want to do this. I'm thinking of doing this every Thursday evening. If you're down, let's make it happen on the YouTube and on the Instagram. Thank you guys. Follow me at Just Plain Zack. Follow the show at No Filter at Zack, which is where we'll be going live. I'm going to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians tonight. If you hate the Kardashians, I understand. I still love them. But thanks, guys. I'm going to let you go and chat with you probably next week or on the Instagram. How do I end this thing? I act like I don't know technology. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye, 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 Instagram. Bye, YouTube. Love you guys. Hashtag adulting AF. Yes, I am. And an interview, Anna from Bling Empire. I'm trying to get Anna. I have Christine that might be coming on the show very soon. We'll see. I have more peeps to come now that a deep dive into Meghan Markle. Okay. I may do a deep dive into Meghan Markle. That actually sounds like a really great idea. Thank you, guys. enjoy your night. I will talk to you on the podcast on Monday. I have an episode with Ronald Richards about the Erica Girardi stuff that's coming out on Wednesday. Then Emily D. Baker is going to be coming on the show as well, answering all your questions. So slide into my DMs and let me know what questions about the Girardi case that you have. That way I can ask Ronald Richards and Emily D. Baker all about it. And yeah, I will talk to you guys on Monday. Okay? Enjoy your weekend. I will see you later. Bye.